Hey, it's Kev from Blender Binge. That's right, I renamed the channel Blender Binge. There was a Blender Bits, it's archived, but I still don't want to do that. So I renamed the channel Blender Binge. So now we're Blender Binge, yay! Anyway, today's video is going to be about the array modifier and all the cool things you can do, especially if you want to start doing video game environments and things like that. Alright, ready? Let's go. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a... Let's do a sphere. Okay. I'm going to go over here. I'll pull this out a little bit. And I'm going to go to Modify, which is this little wrench thing. Add Modifier. And I'm going to hit Array. And you see that now I have two spheres in my scene. If I try to select... I click off that and I select the camera or whatever. Okay. And I try to select the second sphere, it's selected as 1. Well, because I don't have two spheres in my scene. I have one sphere that's duplicated with this array modifier. Ooh. What does that mean? Well, it means that I can go ahead and start playing with this relative offset over here. And let me do this so you can see it better. So I'm going to hit 1 relative offset on the Y, so it's going 1 unit, so it takes the area of this, and it says place another one area apart. If I did 2, you'll see that now there is the space between. Okay, so if I were to hit 3 on this, okay, and I were to go back to 1, you see that fills the gap. Okay, so it takes the area and this relative offset moves it by the area of the object that you're using. And you can have as many count as you want. So it just takes it and duplicates. And then you can change the relative offset to see how much area you want between, how much space you want between the different spheres, okay, in both directions. And you can change the direction up, down, left, right, forward, back. Okay, so it's a duplication modifier. So you're basically creating an array, a number of duplicates. See that? So if I were to zero this all out again, okay, and do 1, and maybe I'll make this 1, okay, and so I will say duplicate of 2. If I have a count of 1, obviously it's not doing anything, okay? Or it doesn't appear to be doing anything. So I say 2, now I have 2. This relative offset is really cool. You can also use a constant offset, okay, and do something similar where you're just getting a constant. It's not relative to anything, it's not relative to itself, it's just a constant offset. Okay, so 1 here refers to 1 unit on the grid. Okay, so that's constant offset. Relative is using the area of the object. Does that make sense? Okay, a little confusing. The area of this object in relative offset is what controls. The 1 refers to the area. In constant offset, the 1 refers to 1 unit grid. So you can see that they're closer together. If I were to take this off and I were to put a relative, they're further spaced apart. Okay? So that should make sense. If it doesn't, stare at it more. it'll start making sense. See how this is kind of going, they're intersecting here because it's only going 1 unit. Okay, so this thing is 2 units wide, so it's going halfway in here. So I would actually have to change this to 2 to make it the same as relative offset 1. See? Same. Okay? So that lets you control how much offset you have, which is kind of cool. Alright? Now, there's other things that we can do with this. Say instead of fixed count, we have fixed length. Well, length is 0, it means we can't do anything with that. But if I start pulling this out and I increase the length, it gives us more to play with. Okay, so this can be useful in certain situations. Okay, and then you can see with constant offset here, or relative will do pretty much the same thing. It only allows you to duplicate in that one space, in that space that you define. Okay, so let's say I define, definition of 3, okay? It's only going to allow me to duplicate within that. And I could duplicate quite a few in there, but with this constant offset, okay? So I'm not really controlling it with any number. I'm just saying within this length of distance, okay, you can duplicate it that many times with the offset. Okay, so that's another way to control this, if that makes sense. And then we also have fit curve, which if I were to create, say, like a circle, okay, and then I chose that circle, so I go here, a little eyedropper tool lets you go and see, say it says object Bezier curve, choose that. Now I can control this entire thing with the circle. So if I were to go here and scale the circle up, okay, the larger the circle, the more length I have. Okay, the smaller the circle, the smaller the duplication will be. All right, but you can do a whole lot with just using this fixed count, and I'm going to show you how in a second here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go File, New, right, New Scene, and I'm going to create a. Let me create a cube. And say I wanted to create a staircase, a really quick staircase. Okay, let me shrink this. I'll shrink this down to 0.5. All right, now go in here and I will hit Tab, and then I will shift. Let me see. I'll Control Tab, hit Face. All right, I'll select this face and I'll pull this out. Okay, and I will make. Hit Tab again, and just for quick and dirty reference here, and just so this video is not super long, I'm just going to pull this up a little bit, and I'm going to throw an array modifier on this. Okay, so this is going to be one step in our staircase. Now when I go over here to this wrench, I'm going to add modifier and array, and boom, it just pulls it out here. I don't want it here, so I'm going to hit 0 on this. 0. And then I'm going to hit -1 on this. And then over here, I'll pull this out and I'll say 1 over here. So you see where this is going. Now if with this set, relative offset, okay, it's just going to keep going. So if I hit 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay, now I have a staircase. Now here's where the thing gets really powerful. Okay, so I want to change the look of the staircase. Well, watch this. I can go in here to this one. I'm going to get the cursor out of the way. To this one thing I've selected. Okay, the one cube. I'm going to hit Tab. Okay, I'm going to hit A, and now I'm going to hit Control R. And I'm going to go and create a little edge on here. Okay, so I'm going to cut it there. And then I'm going to hit Tab, oops, Control Tab, face. I'm going to select this face. I'm going to go ahead to go over to Tools. I'm going to say Extrude Individual. I'm going to pull that out a little bit. So now I have that little edge on the staircase. But what happened? It pushed all these out. Why? Well, if I go back here, you see relative offset here is set to 1. So I need to pull that back because it's using, remember, it's using the area. I just increased the area of this, okay? I just increased, so if I drew a box around this thing, you'd see I just increased the area of this, all right? So I need to pull it back a little bit. So 0.8 seems to work pretty well, and now I have every staircase in that array, or every step in that array now has this little edge on it. I can also add another, say I add another modifier, one I haven't gone over yet, called bevel. Well, I'm going to use bevel. And now you see it beveled out all the edges. So I'll tighten that up a little bit. Okay. And now we have a nice kind of rounded off edge staircase. So you can see the power of this. So you can use this on any object you want. So say you're creating a bridge. You can do the same thing. You can create all your pylons, and then you could create, a road, and then you can specify how many pylons you want on the road, or how many stair steps you want. I mean, I can increase this forever and get a massive staircase. Or I can shrink it and just get a few stairs. Cool thing is, I can even go ahead and insert a keyframe, like we did if you had watched the animation video I have, okay? And I can keyframe this, so at count 1, I'm only going to have, at frame 1, I'm only going to have 1 stair. And then at frame 60, I'm going to go out and have 50 stairs. Okay, and I'm going to keyframe that. So now, if I play this, let me go back to 1 and fix that. Okay, replace keyframe. Now if I hit play, boom. Pretty cool, huh? And say I can go to 90, and I can scale it back to 5 and hit insert keyframe. So now you see that if I hit play here, yeah, it goes down, comes back up. So there's quite a few things you can do with this. Now the cool thing is it kind of gets you working procedurally, which is there's this really powerful software program out there called Houdini that works very similar to this, and it's way more procedural than this. But this lets you start thinking in that way, where you can start creating one thing and then having it affect a whole bunch of different things that you could create. So this array modifier is really powerful in getting you to start working that way. And it gives you leverage, meaning that, say you built, the bridge, and something wasn't working, and you had 18 pylons holding the bridge up, and then all of a sudden you wanted 6. Well, you can go ahead, if you built it this way, you could change that on the fly without having to remodel things. So this array modifier gives you a lot of kind of procedural control in Blender. So if that makes sense, awesome. I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, hit like and subscribe, and I'll definitely keep making more. Alright? Thanks.